Hi, I'm Sorax and you're watching Since Spacies. You clever person.
Since Spacies.
G'day Invaders, welcome to Sid Spacies, and this is a one-off video, something different that's happening on the channel. As you all know, I am a massive Sega fanboy. I worked for Sega way back in the 90s and been a fan way before even working for the company. So for me, growing up, it was always going to be a Sega console. But I did at one stage while working at Sega, went out on a lunch break and bought myself a Super Nintendo. But prior to that, I used to snub and laugh and make a lot of fun of the NES. I never really looked at it as a console that I desired, but over the years I kind of looked at the history of that machine, and I was always thinking, you know what, maybe getting it in my collection would be probably a really cool thing to do. So,
oh, hello.
That's where this guy comes in. I didn't hurt you, did I?
No, you didn't.
God, you're short.
I am very short.
Oh my God. Okay, so tell people why you're here.
I'm here today because I let you buy a certain console off me because I'm saving up for something else, and I thought I never use it anymore, and I've got the mini version of it, and I've got these games and other games too, so I thought I'll show you my thing. And
do you want to show them?
Show them what it
okay.
is.
So this is pretty cool. Okay, I'll do it.
Pick it up.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'll try not to block your head.
No.
This is the control deck. Trying to get in shot. Okay, so it's an NES control deck, dated from 1985. It's got a Mattel logo on it. You can put it down. It's okay. It's very mint condition, the box.
Thanks to me.
The inside, maybe not so mint.
Well, that's because it's already been used.
He's used it quite a bit. How many games did you own for it, though?
I had just whatever I had here.
Okay, so all these games down here is all you had. That was your whole collection.
Well, no, I've played other games on it in the past.
No, but I mean owned.
Owning it, these, yeah.
Okay, we're going to show you. So the first cab off the rank is standard Mario Brothers.
One.
Story behind this game for me is that in the 80s, I actually borrowed this off a neighbour across the road. Actually, it was in the 90s. And I always loved this game when I first saw it in Myers. No, yeah, it was Myers, who used to be competing with Grace Brothers here in Sydney. They had a toy department and this was being played. And I remember seeing this game and thinking, that's pretty cool. I would love to get that. But that was the only game on the NES that really impressed me, was Mario Brothers, and nothing else really. When I saw the Master System, I just didn't even look at NES at the time. But yep, glad to have this. Hold that. And Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 2. Did you know that this is actually Pokey? No, shut up. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I'm not so much a fan of this game, but maybe I can give it a chance, and maybe I can find something about this game that I will like.
I actually, controversially enough, preferred this one over the third one.
Does anyone leave a comment in the section below? Do you agree with this nonsense comment that just came out of this guy's mouth? He prefers Super Mario Brothers 2. He prefers it over this one.
3 was too difficult for me, and I was terrible at 3.
What now?
Always.
Yeah, and that's the third one is Super Mario Brothers 3. So that's the other title in this collection. But yeah, they can't see it. It's okay. But there is one other game that is going to be an absolute bitch to play.
And you can't rewind it with modern
there's no cheating. No cheating. Can you move over? Jeez. No cheating. Battletoads.
Now everyone who says to Spacies, do you have Battletoads? You can say yes.
Well, I've got it on Super Nintendo.
But that's the original Battletoads.
But this is the original one, and this one has the biker scene in it too, as well, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. But that's not censored or anything.
Does it have the bike scene? Or was that in Super Nintendo?
It could have been the arcade version.
Oh no, it does. Look, yeah, it has the bike scene.
That's the bike one, yeah.
They actually put that in the sequel as well. So
that was the original bike scene.
Yeah. And I like that.
People could not beat.
Nah, it's just absolutely ridiculously hard. So, ladies and gentlemen.
And the box the boxed version that I got this from was very expensive.
You're not joking. I can see that. And it's marked Mattel. Those scumbags that took forever to get a game out in this country. That's probably one of the reasons why I wasn't a Nintendo fanboy, was because that company was slacking so much every time a new game came out. It took them how long to get Street Fighter 2 out? It was like months before it was released overseas to when it would come out here.
So it comes in the original styrofoam too.
We should have got a little soap,
Yes.
a little milk crate for you to stand on.
Unfortunately, it only has one controller.
What fraud! It gives me one controller. You don't have to stick it right up. They know what a controller looks
Yes.
like. It's all good.
Because
There it
I
is.
don't normally have two controllers for these things, only sometimes.
Yeah. So if anyone's got a spare NES controller they want to sell
Donate
me,
it to the channel. And here is the device, and inside it's got Battletoads.
and it's actually marked. If you don't mind,
Yep.
don't mind me showing them. Yep. Okay. So, well, you can't really see it, but I'll put a photo of it
Put
later.
it back in the
Yeah.
box.
Okay. So I'm going to put a photo of it later, but it's actually marked the Mattel version.
I know.
So I think in the States they wouldn't have got this.
Wonder why it was marked as Mattel version.
Yeah. It smells like cigarette. Did you smoke?
No, I don't.
No?
No, maybe, I think it's been down in the garage or something like that.
Right.
In my neighbour's old garage.
So for me, back in the 80s and 90s, I used to mock and laugh at the shape and design of this thing. I used to think that it was too much like a shoebox. And it was, to me, it was hideous looking. But growing up now, I look back on it. It has an iconic design. I personally like the Master System design better, the Mark I model. But I do appreciate the history behind this machine. It just didn't have the same reach in Australia that the Master System had. So I'm looking forward to exploring the back catalogue of this. I do have an NES Mini, so I'm not like a total stranger to the back catalogue of the NES, but it's just great now to be able to finally hold one of these machines. And I can see now a bunch of people in the comments saying, "You traitor! You've sold in, you've sold out," to the opposition. But I mean, this is gaming history here, and you have to acknowledge.
Show them the bottom part where they can't.
Oh yeah, so they got this weird odd thing at the bottom. I'm sure many of you already know. It was like an expansion port, but the weird thing about it was that there's this plastic here that needed to be yanked out. And I don't know how anyone would have actually removed that if a new device did eventually come out. I think they would have planned to maybe, when you bought a peripheral that had to go in here, you would have had to have taken in your unit to the shops and they did it for you.
But they never did anything with that.
No, and it was kind of odd. Maybe they were planning the disc, the Femi. No, what was it called?
It's Nintendo's.
The Famicom disc. There was no specific name for it. It was just a Famicom disc machine. Yeah. But it was a bit sad that they never got that released to the West. But I think by the time that this thing finally started to wane in sales, the Super Nintendo was just taking over anyway. And if it wasn't for Sega releasing the Genesis / Mega Drive, they probably would have tried to continue to sell this for another 5 years. So anyway, that's been my quick reveal. I am now an NES owner, and all thanks to this guy. So thank you very much. And I'm actually going to be doing a few videos with this, a playthrough
I
through
hope to see some gameplay.
I was going to say Sonic. A playthrough through Mario 1, 2 and 3 will be coming up on the channel. I'll be streaming that.
Battletoads.
And this bloody piece of,
I want to see you raging at this game.
Well, someone already suggested that I played the Super Nintendo version, which I did, and I tell you, I hated it. It was just such a
Is that Battle
raging...
Clash? Or Battletoads, the regular Super Nintendo?
The regular.
Because I have Battle Clash.
It was the one with the speeder bike. I couldn't get past the speeder bike section. I did my very best. Anyway, guys, leave a comment down below. What was your favorite NES moment? Did you own a Master System like me and didn't ever own a NES? Were you a Sega fanboy and just didn't want to go over to the dark side? Or were you the other way around? Were you an NES owner and hated Sega or just spat upon Sega? Let us know in the comments section down below. In the meantime, my name's been Brian.
And I am Cameron.
And I've been gaming since Spacies. Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Since Spacies.